Wow. Check this out. Just opened this, got delivered to work. This is a book that's been sent to me by John Kelway. Apparently, John, you watch this channel, maybe not the vlogs, but you've been enjoying the anatomy. And this is fantastic. It's a book that John's written, full of illustrations, like a page of illustration, page of text, explaining where words have come from for anatomical structures in beautiful style and beautiful drawings too. This is incredible. The human body's cabinet of etymological curiosities. This is wonderful. Thank you, John. I love this. Chris is going to love this too, because I think he gave a talk a couple of years ago about exactly this sort of thing. So this area behind us, it's tidal. It's tidal salt marsh, and there's a seawall here that used to protect that area, and it got broken. How many years ago?
At least 6, 7.
And
I walked here when I did the Gower walk.
And you couldn't get
and
around
you
that
couldn't
way.
Get it.
I think it had just been done then, hadn't it?
Not long off, yeah, not long before that I think, because there was no signposts. We didn't realise until we got all the way there. That's all the way around again.
Route, but it was decided not to repair it and to let the seawater get in and restore that salt marsh to how it used to be, which is controversial at the time, but which is why you see so many dead trees down there. But the wildlife has really responded, and it has started to go back to how it was, and it's it's changing, it's reverting. So this is salt marsh, right? These are the salt marsh sheep that taste even better because they graze on the salt marsh. This is like more normal Wales, and you've seen some very sunny days recently. It's more usually grey or raining. Wales is famous for it. But I've had another busy, stressful week. Kim's had another stressful week as well, just busy making things and trying to get stuff done. And you've got to recognise when you've kind of had prolonged stress levels, and there's always work that can be done, there's always something you can do, but at some point you've got to say, right, I'm going to take a time out now. So I got up this morning, got all my jobs done a little bit early, so that we could go for a nice, easy, relaxing walk this afternoon. We've been raising kids for the last 18 years, which hasn't... Are we going to go that way or that way?
Don't mind.
That way, let's go wider. Which hasn't put a complete hold on our adventures, but we've got...
It's been a different adventure.
Yeah, it's all part of it, isn't it? But we've got, I was saying the other day, enough like pocket adventures, big adventures stored up, ready to go in the backs of our minds to keep us busy.
Not so far back, mind.
What?
They're not too far back in the back of my mind. They're kind of there, waiting to go.
And walking is definitely one of them. I was looking at the Cambrian Way the other day, which is across Wales. We want to walk the Wales Coastal Path, we want to walk the Pembrokeshire Coastal Path. I also want to walk some of the big mountain European trails. There are so many big trails in Europe. I want to walk the Cape Wrath Trail, I want to walk the PCT. So John's book prompted me to talk about something I've been meaning to talk about for a while, which is pronunciation of anatomical terms, because I tend to play with words, and it's not that my pronunciation is bad. I think I do quite a good job because I give you multiple pronunciations, because what I'm trying to do is to prepare you so that when you're, I don't know, working clinically or whatever, talking to other people about anatomy, you recognise all those different pronunciations, right? And I might use a particular flavour. We've got like 200 clinical teachers on our books in anatomy teaching at Swansea, and I know that they pronounce things a little bit differently, a little bit similarly. So I'm trying to make it easier for you, so when you're working with those people and they say a strange word, you don't think, what's he talking about? But you've actually heard it before and it triggers something, right? But the thing is, with pronunciation, it varies around the world. I mean, if you think about English, us British and Americans can't even agree on how to pronounce tomato or aluminum. How do you take a whole letter out of a word? So the same thing applies to anatomical terms, not too surprisingly. And what makes it even worse is these anatomical terms, while we've tried to make new words for things, we've used ancient Greek and Latin, so two languages that haven't been spoken out loud for thousands of years, so who knows what those words really sounded like. And then we've made up new words from those ancient words. So no wonder we're in a little bit of a pickle. When I ran all the way around the Gower, I ran all the way out to that lighthouse. I had to get here as the tide was going out, so I could run out to the lighthouse safely. So I had to plan it all, I had to leave at a certain time to get here at a certain time of year on a certain day, right? Alright, you're going in my bag, we'll continue this at home. What was I saying? Latin and stuff. Yeah, so I did German in school, and I'm brushing up on my German. You know, future adventures in mind, like going back to Austria and Germany and that sort of thing. And of course, that keeps chucking words at me and a series of letters to help me with my pronunciation, like SCH. So in German, sh, you know. But of course, then when I've sat on my ischium, so the pelvis bone is made up of 3 bones on each side, the pubis, the ischium and the ilium. And I'm sat on my ischial tuberosities, except, whilst that is the German sound, ischial, SCH, in Neo-Latin or modern Latin, SCH should probably be sk, so I'm sat on my ischium. But everybody I teach with and work with, all the surgeons that talk about their ischiums and other people's ischiums, say ischium. It's more fun outside. Let's change the weather back to good weather and go back outside and continue this, shall we? One of my favourite anatomy teachers from when I was studying anatomy the first time, Mike Benjamin, he pronounced words like microscope. So again, we had multiple teachers who pronounced things in different ways, but I have a lot of that in my history as well. I know I do make it worse because I play with words and I forget that I'm playing with words, and I should know when I'm recording videos, but I say things like knee, thinking of gastrocnemius, one of the muscles in the calf that has does it have a silent C? Not really, you kind of pronounce it, but you kind of skip over it. But the knee has a silent K, but then we end up saying knee, and I say chime instead of chyme, chylus, cisterna, chyli, chime, chyme, stupid things like that. Brian, Again, students, I mean that's a joke because students in exams, instead of writing brain, they write Brian, and other anatomy teachers are with me on that. The thing about language is it belongs to the people. You can write it down, you can be very descriptive and prescriptive and say this is the word, this is how you spell it, this is how you pronounce it. But that will change as people use the words, and this is what we see in language all around the world. It changes, it belongs to the people, and we'll see that in anatomy, in anatomical terms, no matter how much we try to say, you've got to say it like this. Riddle me this. One of the tiny bones in the ear is called the stapes, because it's named after the stirrup, the Latin word for stirrup. Latin was spoken by the Romans, right? The Romans didn't have stirrups. Stirrups were invented some hundreds of years later. So I guess I'm trying to make 2 points. One, I get it wrong, because I do get things wrong. I wish I was perfect, never made mistakes, because it's no fun making mistakes. But there you go. And the second thing is, it probably doesn't really matter, because even if you pronounce it perfectly, somebody who doesn't recognise that pronunciation won't get at first sight what it is you're talking about. And if you think pronouncing anatomical words is difficult, try learning Welsh. Climbing on the Gower, it's alright.
Terrible. Don't come here.
See how big this beach is? You have to walk to this beach, you can't like park and, you know, not walk to it. You can park and walk to that beach, but this beach, yeah, everybody who's here has had to walk some distance to get here. Good for them.